way to work or starting up their day at home.
Because the teacher that kicked me out of school still teaches at Webb, and his name is Rick White. And if you know Mr. White, you know what a terrific guy he isn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the guy who kicked me out of high school a call here.
Yes, that's right. It's the Poorman, the wild and crazy drive-time DJ from KROQ. Known to his friends as James Trenton, this law school graduate and author has become one of the most popular names on the airwaves today.
On KROQ, 8:52 in the morning, and it's fun to call the Greek system. You know, I'm hoping that the Ship of Fools gets invited down. You know, they have like these sorority dinners where they'll invite a few of their friends, you know, to have dinner along with the sorority houses, because they have like, you know, big mess halls with about 100 women in them. And it's really fun. If there are any sororities down there that will invite us to eat, I mean, for a free meal, we can come on down and bring you some bumper stickers, all right? And have some malts. But anyway, what we're going to do right now is for those of you people who have been listening the entire show, I mean, this is going to reward the 3-hour people. Scott Dietrich Films presents a new film from Quicksilver called Performers 2, featuring the best of Australia's surfing talent in an incredible surf session that will blow your mind. And KROQ has passes to a special screening of Performers 2 on a double bill with the best of Scott Dietrich's Gone Surfin'. You can either attend on Friday the 9th at the Mesa Theater in Costa Mesa or on Monday the 12th at the Monica Theater in Santa Monica. And me, the poor man, I'm going to be on hand for both screenings and all the abuse from the surfers as usual. Showtime is 8 p.m. and seating is on a first-come, first-served basis. So right now, the first 5 callers through on the request line score passes courtesy of Scott Dietrich Film and KROQ. If you can tell us what KROQ surf reporter called earlier this morning live and direct from Hawaii.
It's to the beat of a
What are you doing?
We caught up with the Poorman earlier this week, and we asked him a few questions about what it's like to be a successful Poorman.
Tell me, Mr. Poorman, how did you become interested in radio?
Well, I just kind of fell into radio. I've always liked radio, but I was going to law school, and I'm just about to sneeze here. No, guess not. But anyway, you know, I wrote these books called The Poor Man's Guide to Gourmet Dining in Pasadena for under $6 and The Poor Man's Guide to Gourmet Dining on the West Side of Town. And so they were the travels of the mythical poor man. And what happened is, oh, sorry, Larry, I'll be finished at your desk shortly. This is the music director's desk and assistant PD. But anyway, so I wrote these restaurant guidebooks on where you could eat for under $6, and I started out in radio doing restaurant reviews, just talking about the restaurants and getting free meals for the KROQ staff because nobody had any money, you know, and that's kind of how I got my start, you know. And I became the poor man through the books that I had written.
And where did the name Poorman come from? Where did you develop that? Just because
I just thought of it. Just because it was a poor man's guides to gourmet dining for under $6. It was like where you could eat for under $6. We had one for the West Side, like Beverly Hills, Westwood, Century City, and then I had one for Pasadena. And the people that liked these books were a lot of like middle-aged women, you know, because they want to find a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, and you know, like these secret little hidden restaurants that people love. That's what I would, you know, try to find, and so it was the travels of the mythical poor man. And then when I started reviewing the restaurants, I just, you know, became the poor man, and that's how it all started. But I wrote the books, and they sold like hotcakes with very little press, and I published them myself. So that was how I started out.
Do you have any desire to go back into the law field?
No, I'm not very good at it. I flunked the bar 3 times. I first had to pass the bar exam.
So you actually graduated from law school?
Yeah, I did. I graduated from Loyola Law School, so I've got a Juris Doctorate and a bachelor's. So you can look at it this way. I went all the way through law school to become the poor man. But it's funny, like a lot of my classmates in law school envy the job that I have. I don't know if they envy it. Well, maybe they envy it. But, you know, they think it's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you do any radio in college?
Nothing, no. I've never had any training at all. I learned, you know, on the job. But I learned from the masters. I mean, I consider to have had teachers like Jed the Fish and Ramondo and Richard Blade and, you know, Freddie Snakeskin and who the heck else is there? Rick Carroll, who's our program director. You know, these guys, I mean, I learned from the masters, but I kind of learned as I went along. But it just seemed like it was easy for me from the beginning, you know. Yeah. It was just, I felt very comfortable doing radio.
Now, have you ever taken any serious heat from some of the pranks you're famous for?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've taken so much I can't even tell you, you know.
What's the worst?
The worst thing, let me see. You mean where I got the most adverse reaction?
Yeah.
God, what have I got a lot of adverse reaction to? You know, I can't remember offhand, because a lot of people think that even, you know, they think it's funny, even if it's really ridiculous, you know. I can't think of something that just outraged people to the point where, you know, it was all negative.
Now, did you devise the early morning wake-up call?
Yeah, I thought of that idea.
Yeah, and have you ever had any real trouble from that?
Not really. Occasionally, not really though.
So people usually don't get to the point where I know
they laugh afterwards, because usually after they find out, it's better for them. You know, they're you know, they aren't inconvenienced and they're on the radio and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Now, are you still doing Adventures with the Poorman on Channel 56?
Yeah, we're doing a few new shows. I haven't done as many as I've been doing because, to be honest with you, I'm frustrated. I think that show should be on regular TV. I've tried. I've been turned down by all the channels because they'd rather put another 3-camera sitcom on TV. They'd rather put more trash on regular television so that people will continue to buy videos and will continue to switch to cable, because regular TV is, let's schmooze whoever we know. If we, you know, I consider regular TV like a group of Hollywood insiders. Then the only way you can do a new show is if you're in that little clique, which is centralized in Hollywood, dealing with media people that all hype each other and who don't even see what's going on in real life. And that's why you look at regular TV and you see the same crummy, crappy, hideous product that you've been seeing. The 3-camera sitcom All in the Family was great, but that was, you know, 20 years ago or 15 years ago. It's just like seeing news on television. You know, they all are Walter Cronkite clones.
Yeah.
Nobody will take a chance. And I think Adventures with the Poorman should be on regular TV. And the reason I can't do a lot of shows is I pay out of my own pocket. And, you know, I've done 32 shows on that show. But I think it has a place on regular TV. It's just that regular TV has to catch up with the times and realize that, you know, you don't have to be Slickman Jones, you know, in order to have a successful show. And I think they're afraid of things that are new and different.
Oh, definitely. I think, yeah, it is very paranoia.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see what they're doing to the cable industry now. They're really trying to, coming out saying that it's regulated all the broadcasters and that kind of stuff.
Well, I think the broadcasters are regulating themselves, because I think the broadcasters aren't willing to open their minds up, and they aren't willing to have new talent come in because they're so afraid of keeping their jobs. And so what they do is they just ask the same guys to crank out new pilots, the same guys who haven't gotten out of Hollywood a day in their lives, that live from party to cocktail party, you know, that don't look at what the regular society is living like, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate. I look at, for instance, at like a Morton Downey. Wally George should have gotten that show first. I mean, he's been doing it longer. He had Morton Downey on his program one time.
Did he really?
Yeah, and yet he doesn't get the show on regular TV. The other guy does, because the other guy has better connections. So I think that this is the problem. I think that regular TV should be replaced by cable programs, and that some of these, you know, fringe outside bit players who can't, you know, schmooze themselves in with the insiders end up, you know, not getting their thing on there, and the ultimate loser is the viewer, who's not going to watch regular TV.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, what's the future hold for Jim Trenton? More movies? You like doing the movies? I know you've done a couple movies.
Yeah,
right?
that's fun, but that's like icing on the cake. I mean, if you get a movie role, you got to consider yourself fortunate, because usually the way I get them is that people will call the station and say, "Hey, we got some part for you." It's very difficult, though, to be an actor. I mean, I really, you know, I feel for people in that profession, because so few end up working and making money. So, I mean, I love doing it. I mean, you know, if my career ended up making movies, I would consider that like a dream. But I think I'll do a few roles here and there, just like I've been doing.
Yeah.
And you know, that's pretty much where I think it'll remain. As far as what I'd like to be doing, I'd love to have my television show on regular TV. You've just heard me mention that. But I have no real overall goal. I can't, you know, some people say, well, I've got, you know, grandiose ideas to do this, and this. I wouldn't mind having like the next step of like a Carson or Letterman show, because I've got some ideas of my own on what to do on that. I think television, it would be kind of neat, you know, but it's really hard to say. You know, you just never know where you're going to go. That's pretty much the way it is.
Do you like the persona that you've developed as the poor man? You feel that if that has longevity to establish as that kind of persona for a long time?
Well, I think that I don't know if I've developed like a, you know, I mean, I think it's really me, you know. I think I'm multi-dimensional as a person, you know, and I think I can't really say, hey, I'm going to be this way or this way or this way, you know. I think you've got to constantly, you know, adapt to what's going on, and that's pretty much the way I am, you know. But I think it's good not to have two set of ways, you know. I think a lot of people, once they become successful in the business, try to stay into a niche where they're safe. And, you know, hopefully I'll always be able to, you know, try new things, you know, and And you know, most of my friends are not people in the entertainment field, you know, because I feel more comfortable, you know, just with normal people. I feel comfortable with any people. I just like people, you know. I mean, I could talk to a guy sitting on a park bench. I've always been that way, you know, and maybe that's the reason I've been able to do well in this business, you know. So.
Yeah. Well, you have done well, Jim, and thank you very much for being with us.
Well, thank you, and good night, Southern California. By the way, where are we on right now? Let me say hi to everybody.
Covina.
We're on Covina Cable?
Yeah, I tell you, we're on Quintessential. The name of the show is Quintessential Covina.
All right. Well, hello, Quintessential Covina. I'm the poor man, getting heavy with you today. Can you see my tongue? Are you watching? Hey, aren't I ugly? Hey, or am I good looking?
Well, as you can see, the poor man has shown us he is intellectual and multifaceted. After the interview, the poor man had some business to take care of. He does many commercials for the station and invited us to witness one of his more subtle spots.
Hi! It's me, the poor man, to tell you that the great nothing over $15 sale continues at all off-my-back locations. Come in now for great deals on your favorite brand names. All the stuff for back to school and more, like coordinate pants, top skirts, jackets, and t-shirts, plus long shorts, short shorts, and all the coolest back to school fashions. Values up to $100. Prices so low, we can't even mention the brand names. The nothing over $15 sale going on now at all off-my-back locations. Sherman Oaks and Ventura and Beverly Glen, Santa Monica, Lincoln and Pico, Venice and West Washington, Costa Mesa at 17th and Newport Boulevard. We're Superior Newport Boulevard meet! And join me, the poor man, this Saturday from noon till 2 at Off My Back in Redondo on Artesia, just west of the South Bay Galleria. We're going to have a great time! Free giveaways, albums, concert tickets, and I'm going to be drawing the winner of the Jimmy's Custom Surfboard, valued at over $400. The nothing over $15 sale going on now at all Off My Back locations today through Sunday for back to school. Prices even a poor man can afford. Don't miss it. Woohoo!
Oh, that was ugly.
Gee. Perfect. 106.7 seconds of news with Doc on the Rock is brought to you by who?
Kendall Oil.